Okay. Can everybody's attention? I am very, very excited to introduce from Trinkets, Parker Hall, Brandon Butler, and Kiana Madera. Please come on out! This is probably one of the best groups we've had in a really long time, and I have no doubt that you guys will be seeing them up there on the big screen very soon as well. And you already have, because this little guy right here is from the studio too. So thank you for coming back.
Yeah, thank you.
I sort of feel like Barbara Walters right now.
Tell me about the first time that you really felt good inside.
So if you guys would each just introduce your characters on the show, tell us who you play, and just give us a little tidbit about your storyline. I mean, a lot of these guys know you already, but we would love to hear more from you. Go ahead, Parker.
Well, my name is Parker Hall. I'm 11 years old, and I play Spencer, who's an 8-year-old in the show, Spencer Davis, and he is the younger brother of the main character, and he is sciencey and geeky.
He's sciencey and geeky. Perfect. Sounds like half the class has that.
Hey, I'm Kiana Madera. I play Mo on Trinkets. I'm from Canada, so yeah, I'm like the only Canadian in the cast, which is pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. It's like a fun fact.
Yeah.
So Mo is a girl in high school, 16 years old. Honestly, out of all the characters I've ever played, Mo is the hardest to just wrap up in one sentence because I feel like she's not really just one thing. But she's very smart, has her guards up, meaning like she doesn't trust people easily, but when she does find people she connects with, she really opens her heart and develops some beautiful friendships in the show. Yeah.
I like what you said, that she's not one thing, that she can't be wrapped up in one sentence. Can anybody else relate to that? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
same.
so. I think so too, for sure. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Brandon.
I'm Brandon Butler. I play Brady Finch. Katie, the mom.
Yeah. My son.
Yeah, my mom. Yeah, Brady Finch is not the nicest guy in school. He thinks he's entitled. And yeah, he tries to stir up some drama and some stuff for Mo and for the other girls in the show.
Does he get worse in season 2? Because he was a tough one in season 1, right?
Yeah,
What
he's
about
tough in
season
season
2?
1. No, he's out for redemption for sure. So yeah, this season
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's not letting up. You know, he's definitely trying to get some drama. Yeah, like so much with you a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot of scenes together in season 2, which is we're like such good friends in real life, but our characters don't get along, so it's always fun.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's the one thing I did hear about you, Brandon. Whenever I told somebody I was coming to work with you as my son, they were like, the nicest guy you'll meet. Plays the meanest character, the nicest guy. And I think that they lied. I thought you were mean on the show.
Anything nice is just acting.
Perfect.
Me.
Perfect,
No,
yeah. So, I mean, one of the exciting things about bringing you down here is this isn't even our whole group. Unfortunately, we have a lot of folks out for Thanksgiving week, so we're streaming to them. Hi out there. We wish you guys were here with us. But one of the things is like, can you talk a little bit about, maybe Brandon, start with you, just because I know, and I'm sure you too, Kiana, talk a little bit about, being a childhood actor. Like, you were telling me that you were going on auditions and the story about your brother and how hard that was.
Yeah.
I'd love you to share that.
Sure. So yeah, I was pretty much raised in Illinois, south side of Chicago, maybe 20 minutes from the city. Grew up playing baseball, basketball, majority of sports was like pretty much my thing. And until I remember like I was 8 or 9, when for some reason, you know how like some movies or a movie just hits you and kind of touches you?
Yeah, we know.
8-year-old self was hyped over the Harry Potter Sorcerer's Stone. Don't know why.
Thank you.
Thought it was yeah, I thought it was the coolest thing, and I didn't even know what acting like was. But it was just something I remember watching it or leaving the theater and being like, whoa, whatever obviously I know Hogwarts isn't what that's not an actual thing to go to,
It's
unfortunately.
not? Oh my
It's
God.
not? No. But I don't know, I just something about the whatever he was doing on screen or they were doing it on screen, I just wanted to do, and ever since then I was like, Mom, I wanna be an actor, I wanna do it Daniel Radcliffe's doing.
And did you go to acting classes, or did you just start auditioning, or what was that?
Yeah, I did.
experience like?
So like community theater, just to see if I even kind of liked it or enjoyed it, or if I was terrified of it. But actually, looking back on it, you can tell I'm probably still not 100% comfortable being up here. But it's something that you learn and grow with, especially at that age, trying to sing in front of. I thought this girl was cute, and in the theater group or whatever, and I'm trying to like sing in front of them, or at least attempting to. Is something you kind of break that wall, and all of a sudden it's just kind of like, all right, you're human, we all kind of go through this and get comfortable.
Yeah, you just got more comfortable over time.
Yeah. So eventually, I'm rambling, but did theater. Then I did like Columbia College. They had like student films. Did a lot of those, and then eventually got an agent in Chicago and started out commercially. There's a lot of commercials in Chicago. Now, of course, they have Empire and all these shows that are filming there, but at that time, at least, it was just commercials. So, yeah, around like 9 or 10, really had like an agent and kind of just going on commercials with that. But the funny thing is, you mentioned my brother. So I was the first one, I'm taking credit here. Wanted to like, no, I want to be an actor, I want to do this. And I have a younger brother. He's actually gonna fly out. He's gonna come visit tomorrow. But anyway, he was like, oh, I kind of want to do what he's doing. So then, of course, he started kind of getting the acting bug. And I remember he would book everything and anything in Chicago, like commercials. There was like Fred Claus, like a Christmas movie that was filmed there. Of course, he booked like a little role there.
Did you guys both grow up with the same kind of parts and things?
No,
or?
like I joked, but I grew up as far as physically pretty fast. Like I'm the same height as I was in 5th grade. I'm kidding. But,
That was where you're supposed to laugh.
no, I'm kidding. No. But my brother was like really tiny, and then he kind of like a growth spurt.
Yeah.
Because when he was 13, he was going out for 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was kind of going out for younger, and I was kind of in that. Not knowing, can I play younger, can I be older, and that kind of like stage.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes
That like in
sense.
between.
Yeah, in between, you don't
Yeah.
really know if you can play older or if you can kind of play convincing, younger.
We get that a lot here too, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. not
Yeah,
sure if we get
okay,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, he would book everything, and I remember him just being like, oh yeah, this is cool, this is fun to do on the side, but like I was like, yeah, why am I not booking? He's booking everything, I can't book anything. I guess looking back, it just kind of made me want to try even harder and like, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of, I guess, the story.
I just like that story because, I mean, a lot of us, we'll see other actors go forward, book jobs, get jobs, and we're kind of like, hey, why them, why not me? But your turn came when it was right, when it was supposed to be your turn, it came.
And that's the thing, I'm sure, I don't know, Keanu's super talented in books. You'll see, yeah. But there was a time where it was a lot of no's and a lot of no's. And it's,
Why didn't you ever give up?
Yeah.
You never gave up?
Never give up. Even though at times I was like, all right, maybe I should really focus on.
What was your first big break? Like where you were like, oh yes, I'm doing a thing. I'm doing a real thing here.
Probably 13 Reasons Why.
Did you guys ever heard of that show? So he's on season 2 of 13 Reasons, playing Sean?
Scott.
Playing Scott. Okay.
No, it was and that's just kind of, you never know what's gonna happen. Like originally, Scott, when I auditioned for it, was only supposed to have like a 2-episode arc, and then it was kind of supposed to be out. And then I had some way, it was such a blur, a great blur, but it was just, but I had like, in the middle of like episode filming 1, I had Brian Norby, like the showrunner, come up to me and he's like, hey, we might want to do something with the character, kind of have him stick around and.
The thing every actor wants to hear, by the way.
Awesome.
Right?
It was unreal. Yeah. So I guess just from there, I don't know. Like I remember like my first LA job. I moved out when I was 18 to LA, and I had like a general hospital like quick like scene. I was like frat boy number 2 or something like that. But, yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's really exciting. Good, and I want to come back to more of that too, but I want to hear a little bit about like what it was like for you. Did you grow up, or were you a child actor also, or how did you end up doing this, and what was the first break and all that?
Well, I actually, like Brandon said, there was a movie for me. It was Grease. It's a very like old school movie. I don't know if you guys know it, but John Travolta plays Danny Zuko in Grease. And when I was 5,
Yeah, we know the movie.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like Grease. John Travolta, like, yes. Who were you in Grease?
Oh no, I wasn't in Grease.
Oh, you just watched it.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, were you 5 then? How old were you? Really young.
When I was 5, I like fell in love with John Travolta in that movie, and I was a really shy kid. So I was like, okay, how can I marry John Travolta? Yeah, like if I become an actor and like work with him in something, then I can marry him. And then I told my parents I wanted to be an actor, but I was really shy, so they were just kind of like, yeah, we'll see. And years went by. I saw a magazine with him on the cover in a grocery store, and I found out that that movie was filmed in like the 70s. So when I was 5, he was much older than when he played in Grease. So my dreams of marrying him were just were not realistic. He was already like 40 something, I think.
I think a lot of people wanted to marry him though.
In that time, yeah, in that time.
Yeah.
But anyways, I never stopped asking my parents to put me in acting. So when I was 10, I still was very shy. But they were like, okay, we'll just sign up with a small agency in Toronto. So I did, and I auditioned for a lot of commercials and stuff. I did like a couple of small things, like educational films for school, teaching about like Canadian history and geography and stuff. And then when I was 13, I auditioned for like one of the biggest agencies in Canada, and I had to prepare a monologue, and the agent told me I wasn't ready. He said, take classes, keep training, and come back when you think you're ready. And I was like, okay, I took like 1 class. And I went back, I'm like, I think I'm ready. And he told me, he's like, I don't think you're ready acting wise, but I don't have anyone on my roster who looks like you. So I'm gonna sign you. And I was like, cool.
Nice way in.
Yeah, it was but that kind of just made me feel like I always had something to prove. So I was like, okay, I don't really care if my look is right. I'm not ready, like acting wise. So I took a lot of classes, and it's so crazy, like seeing you guys here.
Aww.
I was literally like exactly like you, like even like with like writing down notes and everything. And I still am like that. It's really important, I think, to still take classes no matter what. But yeah, it's really beautiful seeing you guys here.
Yeah.
So I took a lot of classes, and being from Canada too, there's a little bit of a barrier because a lot of the bigger projects film in the States. So in order to even get my visa to work here, I had to build my resume in Canada. So anytime a Disney movie came to shoot in Canada, I would like try to book a role in that. And I did a lot of Disney movies like that came to Canada, so I was very fortunate.
We love to hear titles in case anybody is a big follower of there.
I was in The Swap with Peyton List.
Okay.
Another movie, The Swap. Bad Hair Day with like Laura Morano. Yeah, I played like her best friend in that. Harriet the Spy Vlog Wars was like with Jennifer Stone, was like 2010. That was my first role actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember being on set being like, I don't know how I got like booked this. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did yeah, and then like in Canada we have a channel called Family Channel, which is kind of like our version of Disney Channel.
Yeah.
So I did a sitcom there, and I did like a couple of shows there. And I just actually made my move to the States last year.
Oh, really? Over to LA or New York, or where did you go?
Well, no, I didn't move like living.
Oh,
I just got an agent and started like working here last year.
And it did pretty well for you. You're in season 2 of TRINKETS. So.
Yeah, I booked Trinkets. It was
What have you had anything else that you're excited to share with everybody?
Well, I was a part of a Facebook watch show called Sacred Lies. I don't know if you guys have Facebook, but Facebook has like a network there.
Right, the Birch film, the Birch that filmed in Portland, so they've been hearing about that. So you're also on Facebook Watch.
Yeah.
Okay,
A
so
show
we need to
called
watch
Sacred
Sacred Lies, you guys.
I'm on season 1, and Odysseus is actually going to be on season 2, which is not out yet.
He was supposed to come today, but he's actually flying back from LA. He's got.
It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
And I have 3 movies coming out next summer. They're going to be in movie theaters, God willing. They're called Fear Street. It's like a trilogy of horror movies. They're planning to release them June, July, and August.
Wow.
So that's-
Oh my gosh, how fun!
Yeah, it was great. We
Number
shot
one.
them all this year.
Nice.
So like all like back to back. So it was crazy.
And where did you film?
Atlanta.
You did, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, very exciting. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
See, guys, we got her before she blows up into this big, huge star. And then we had to get a private jet to bring her in.
No, not environmentally friendly.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's really great. I'm
Yeah.
really happy for you. And I told them, I said, I mean, I knew Brandon had this story that, you know, just a minute ago, you were where they were, and you as well. And some of these kids, I mean, they're auditioning also, and they're really putting their heart and souls on the line and for the shows or whatever. And it's so exciting to hear that it does happen.
Yeah,
No.
we hear no, even
All
now,
the
like
time.
all the time. It's like we honestly, something that I learned was audition because you love acting and not necessarily because you want to book the role. So every time you get an audition, just act like you are that character. You're playing that character.
Yeah.
This is your job right now. So whether you get to play it in an actual show or movie or not, at least you had the opportunity to play this amazing character, even for an audition.
I think that's the
Yeah.
best exact advice. Somebody, you know, wrote me today from LA and went for this big job, da 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 da. And I just said, today you're an actor.
Yeah.
Today you get to do the thing you love to do.
Yeah, exactly.
What a great feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you book it, if you get a call back,
That's just
it's just like a bonus.
Plus,
Like it's
yeah.
amazing, and it will happen as long as you always like come from a place of love and
And
love what you're
service.
doing. It will happen. Yeah.
Yes, like you guys, we always talk about service, giving back, and what you can do to help others. And that's just like you guys coming back, returning it, and moving it and paying it forward. All of these kids have that as part of their like actor toolbox, you know.
Yeah.
But tell everybody, so like one hot minute you were down here, you were in the Saturday Night Live comedy workshop, and then the next thing I know, you're like, oh my gosh, you're every day on set. How's it been?
Good.
Yes. Yes. Tell us what you like best. So he lives in Portland, obviously.
I'm
He's
a
a
local.
dear friend of the studio. I've known him since he was very, very young. He's a local, right? But what's it like getting to work every day like that? Not every day, but all the time, as one of the main characters on the show, Parker.
Well, it's really cool because I get to meet all these cool stars. And also, it's really cool because I get my own trailer. And
Keep it real. That's real. That's real.
yeah, but it was just super cool because it was probably, it was the biggest set I've been on. And it was just really fun. And, it was.
Let me ask you a question. What's one of the things that you have used the most as far as like, oh, I need to rely on my acting skills, you know, for this scene with 3 or 2 cameras and director and a light and everybody all around you and actors who've been on other sets. Like, what's the thing you've relied on the most to help give you that good performance, would you say?
Well, probably, so, like, one of the things that I learned when I was on the set was that when you're in the mood, then it actually, like, makes your acting a lot better because, like, you're actually in the scene, and acting, you have to make acting real. You can't just fake act. And
Thank you.
probably the-
Preach it, Parker. Yes, thank you.
And that's
Exactly.
probably the best thing that I've learned on the show and that I use a lot.
Parker actually taught me. Like I learned a lot from Parker in season 1. We had a day on set together, and like talk about like literally a young professional. He had a scene where he had to be emotional and he had to cry. If you watch the show, it's when he's in the bumper car and he's stuck in it. And literally on set, he stayed in his, like, so we have stand-ins. So pretty much when they're setting up the cameras, the actor can either stay on their spot or their stand-in can come in and they can go take a break. Parker decided to stay in the bumper car because he was already in it and like he was just getting emotionally prepared. And a lot of times on set, they don't necessarily give the actor a lot of time to prepare. So they're like, okay, we gotta go. And Parker felt very comfortable to say, okay, I just need a moment. They're like, okay, we're rolling, we gotta go. He's like, okay, I just need a moment. He took his time, he breathed, and he started crying. And I was like, I even get nervous to ask for things like that on set, because you know, you don't want to seem like you're difficult to work with, but you did it in a very professional way. And like very focused, and
So he could bring the truth, so you could bring the truthful performance. We talk a lot here about living truthfully in imaginary circumstances. So there he was in his imaginary circumstance, trying to find truth.
Yes.
And it is an example when another actor does that. It's a beautiful example. I love that story. And it doesn't surprise me. We all like him someday.
Oh,
Well, I'd love to also talk, so a lot of my actors out there are like, how do I know when to go to LA, or should I go, or is that where I need to be? There's just a lot of conversation at the studio about, while we have a lot of shows that are wonderful here, a wonderful, there's lots of advertising and commercials and educational things like you talked about. Well, we all know that, other markets are booming with bigger amounts of work opportunities. So can you just talk a little bit about that thing? You all went through it. Should I go to LA? When should I go to LA? What does it mean to be there? What are some of your thoughts, recommendations around that for kids and teens?
It's tough. I feel like especially now though, it's like self-tapes are huge.
Yeah.
Really?
I
Parker
was-
would agree. Like,
How did
One
that-
today.
See? There you go. At least growing up, like everyone was saying like, oh, you have to be in LA. Like, you have to be there.
right.
Granted, like, okay, when you're there, it's, I guess more beneficial for you to be face to face with the casting director and get that relationship up front rather than, oh yeah, I've seen your tapes. But on the other hand, I mean, I've only worked in LA. I've been living in LA for 5 years now. I've only worked in LA for a job once.
Really?
And, like, I would
That's
fly
great.
out to, like 13's up in Northern California. This is obviously here in Portland.
But then how did you get your LA manager agent from Chicago first, or how did that?
You know what? It was long story short. So I guess going back to the self-tapes, I was kind of in the Disney realm as well. I mean, you were on Disney, but I was trying for Disney, growing up in like 13, 14. Got close on some, and I don't want to say casting director's name, I don't know, but they were so nice enough to reach out to my agent and said, hey, we were really considering him for this role, but it kind of just went for, the network had someone else in mind, and that's another thing that, it is a thing. But she was like, you know what, I really know this manager out here in LA. I would love for you guys to meet up. And so we kind of
That's
just,
everything.
based off of an audition, and that's the other thing too, where, well, I guess I'll leave that for a little later, but like as far as LA and for whether deciding to move there or not, like, for instance, I had that manager when I was 13, 14, and he wanted me to be out there in LA, even though my 14-year-old self was like, Mom, Dad, I want to go to LA. They're like, no, stay here, finish school. So that's what I ended up doing, but then the manager wasn't too thrilled with that. They were like, no, we had the impression you were going to be here. So by the time I moved out to 18, I didn't have a manager. I just had my Chicago manager. So I went on IMDb Pro, looked at, I was told like, okay, if you like a show or an actor or someone that you look up to, I was told to kind of look at their representatives and see who they're repped by, and kind of seeing their client list or whatever. So since I didn't have a manager, I had a Chicago agent who was great, but they weren't in LA or in New York or Canada. I emailed managers and just said, hey, this is my resume, this is where I want to go in my career, and I sent out about like 10 or 15, and I had a few handfuls, reach back and had some meetings, and that's kind of literally how it went, because my manager that I'm with now, I love, was from Illinois as well, and he's like, you realize, like, so we fast forward to the dinner, like a meeting, whatever, and he's like, you realize I get like hundreds of emails. Hey, I'm an actor, I'm an actress, like this is what I want to do. I'm from North Carolina, I'm from New York. He said, I like your look, but the decision to like actually have a meeting with you and dinner with you was because I saw, oh, he's from Chicago, he's from Illinois, where I'm from.
Oh, wow.
Cool, I'll have a dinner with him.
Something so simple.
Something
It's just your turn.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
your turn, and you went the extra mile to even know what IMDb Pro is. Let's
Yeah.
start there. That's one. And then to go and do your research, do your homework, not sit around saying, when am I going to get mine? But like, okay, I'm going to be proactive and I'm gonna, take classes, do my research. And then also, you guys, when you do really good work, people want to help you and recommend you like that casting director did. They want to say, hey, this person's doing good work, let's pass that name on.
That's kind of going what Kiana kind of touched, I think, in the beginning, as far as, even though, and trust me, I, auditions where I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to book this. I don't know why, but the camera picks that up on your face. Not I guess the desperation or like just the wants, like, please, I'm right for this role. And for whatever reason, I find that the ones that I'm just like, really almost kind of like trying too much or prepping, I don't want to say prep too much, but you know what I mean, almost kind of going overthink it, was the ones that I look back and like, I self-tape, and I would kind of see my face from it.
You're holding on to it too tight.
I'm holding on to it too tight.
You guys hearing that? That's stuff that goes in your notebook, right there.
And then the ones that you kind of feel like, okay, that would be cool.
Or what do I have to lose?
What do I have to lose?
I'm never going to get it. What do I have to
What do I have to
lose?
For real, for 13, that was kind of one of those things where I was like, alright, I know everyone's going to be kind of auditioning for it.
Yeah.
Why not?
And then there you are.
Yeah, so I think, it's almost, at least what I'm been learning, still am, is just when auditioning, go in almost as if like, quiet confidence, not trying to sell yourself, but in a way it's just like, this is what I have to offer. I'll leave it it's in your hands now, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Don't hey, I'm here, I'm excited, I'm the right guy for the role, like this one's going like,
Or my favorite one, I love the script. Oh man, it really touched my heart. I could totally do this part.
I don't know, you want to be, I don't know if that makes any sense.
I like what you said about quiet confidence. Quiet confidence, and that what you also said was, this is where I'm at. Like every day we talk about this. You're only as good right now as you are in this very moment, right? After this, you're going to be a little bit better. After the next class, or the next life experience, or the next amazing movie that touches your mind, body, and soul, you're going to be that much better. So when you offer up your performance, it's what you have to share. It's all you have at this moment. There's nothing else. It's just that's it. And if you're free and clear and relaxed and quietly confident, something good can come out and through versus like holding onto it, hosing it. Yeah. What about you, Kiana? I mean, just the whole LA getting an agent manager topic.
That was always a huge topic for me, especially because like I'm from Toronto, so my agents in Toronto were always like, it was always the goal to get representation in LA. And eventually I was like, okay, I think my resume is big enough, I think I could do it, and they were like, no, still, but I really like pushed back and was like, I think that I'm ready, so let's do it, and they were like, okay, fine. So
you really advocate for yourself.
Yeah, I find that that's really, really necessary.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's like what you were saying too, like the quiet confidence. Just know, like exactly what both of you were saying, that you do have a lot to offer. So you don't need to like push too hard. You can just sit in that and be like, I know what I can bring. So just give me the opportunity, and then we can work together. Auditioning is kind of like that too. Like sometimes we have the tendency to think, let me show you what I can do. But if you come from a place of what can we create together, it kind of takes a lot of pressure off yourself too.
And we also talk about if you feel it, they will feel it. If you show it, they will see it.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to feel something.
For real, yeah, it's true.
We all want to feel something.
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you advocate for yourself, but in that way that's not pushy, that's like, I've got some pretty great things. And just before you continue, I wanted to point out that so many times people who aren't working on sets think there's some secret. There's not.
No.
There's not a secret. There's not those people. There's just some people, different times, different opportunity, different levels of training. But it's also that thing, that confidence that's like, I deserve to be here. Because I do, because I deserve that. Because I'm willing to work for this opportunity. And that sounds like what you had was like, I know how hard I'm willing to work.
Exactly.
I
And how much
think
I love it, yeah. So I met with some agents in LA. This was like 2 years ago. And I ended up signing with one, and I never moved to LA. So I booked Trinkets off of self-tape from Canada.
Wow.
Fear Street, the movies I have coming out, I booked off of self-tape. I only really auditioned in the room when it came to like the final, we call it a screen test. Yeah, callbacks or screen test is like the final one.
And who's that with, just so they know? How is a screen test different than an audition?
So screen tests are normally with like either the executives in the room, like the executive producers, director, or they put you on tape and then they send it to like the network. So if you're auditioning for like the CW, for example, or Netflix, they'll use your audition tape and send it to the network. Whereas if you're just doing a regular audition, you don't really know if it's going to go as far as the network. The network is like the last step kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
For Fear Street, for me, the last audition was actually 6 hours long. And
6 hours?
yeah, it was 6 hours. And it was because it was a chemistry read too, which is a thing that you do as well. Like, they had 3 girls going out for the character that I played, and 3 girls going out for the character who opposite me. So for 6 hours, we all kind of like mixed and matched.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, so
It
it
wasn't
wasn't just
just me for 6
improv,
hours.
like what were you
Oh,
doing in there for 6 hours?
Yeah, no, it was, yeah.
So they were just kind of bringing you guys in and out and doing different things.
And
yeah.
that happens a lot of times. I think especially with movies, you have chemistry reads, but sometimes for shows too.
Yeah.
I never did.
You never did.
No, I didn't have a chemistry read for
You did in
movies.
the show. Because I did.
No.
That was the very last
They were like, no, he's
Yeah.
gonna be fine with the chemistry. We got
No,
you
I
guys
know.
are gonna be fine. It took one look at you, like they're gonna be fine.
I think, yeah, I don't know.
I don't
But, I never moved to LA.
So you never had to move, but you got an agent.
Yes, I think that's the most important. I think
Yeah.
representation in LA or New York really expands your horizon for an opportunity for auditions, and then you can just self-tape from there. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary to move, but do what you can to get an agent or manager in one of those places.
And do what you can in your own market
Yeah.
to work your tail off to solidify the jobs and roles that are available to you.
Yes.
So that's what both of you did.
Yeah.
You guys said, I'm gonna work in this market, I'm gonna work so hard, and you kind of created this little spot for yourselves that did give you that like jumping off point to say, yeah, I've been on enough sets, I've had enough experience, I know I wanna do this, I'm ready to go to the next step, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have representation in LA too, right,
Yes.
buddy? How's that been for you? Because you do a lot of self-tapes and you go to school
Yeah.
and you're like down here and mom has you doing all kinds of stuff all over the place. You're like a writer, a painter, a songwriter. Like, I don't know. Are you gonna be on The Bachelor next season? He's like just like amazing kid. How has that been for you with like LA and auditions and things like that?
Well, it's been great because I get to like so for some things I get to like play roles from like TV shows sometimes, like big roles like that.
Because you just worked with on a really big.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the short film yet, or are we allowed to?
I posted it. It's
Oh,
coming out.
okay.
Yeah.
He worked on there was a pretty fancy producer on that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that name drop? I'll pick it up if you drop it.
I
know.
don't know the produce the
So, what?
Is it named?
So I'm trying to think of the name, but he worked with, James Franco. He worked with,
He's
but
just-
no, it wasn't James. But
He's just
he was an
hobnobbing with
understudy
some
of
fabulous people.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, I love it. And so, okay, so then you were able to do some other wonderful projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go back and forth. And
Yeah.
do you get your schoolwork done? Do you
Yeah.
get, how's that?
So sometimes I have homework on top of like last year I had a 11-page long script that I had to do in 1.5 days, and I had homework on top of that too. And then I had to fly down to LA and audition for it, and so that was pretty hard. But yeah, I get all my schoolwork done on top of the scripts.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
because you don't mess around. You get it done. I don't imagine that you're
I
like,
do it the day it's
you're at home
so.
Instagramming
No,
and.
I'm just kidding. No, I mean I do it the day it's assigned.
Yeah, that's smart. Did you guys hear that?
Smart.
Write that in your notebook. Do it the day it's assigned.
That's always the goal.
He's such a smart kid. I love it. So tell us, you guys, if you would, about what it's been like being in Portland. You probably can lie if you want to, like about how great everybody has been here. But like, what's it been like? What's some of your favorite things to do here? Because this is it. Season 2 is ending, right? And we hope you come back on another amazing show. Netflix is doing lots of fun stuff here. But tell us a little bit about your Portland experiences.
We're like a family in Portland now.
We pretty much hang out all the time.
Yeah. This is like our family home. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
We hang out all the, especially like Brandon, Odysseus, and I. Like, we hang out all the
Getting
time.
dinner after
And like
this.
even the rest of the cast too,
Yeah.
for sure. Like everyone's really close. The food here is amazing.
Yeah.
Food
The
is,
food is so good.
And then you guys are a little bit older, right? You're playing a little younger, so
Yeah.
you're not like living at home with your parents, but you are being, picked up and planted in kind of an unknown city. Can you just mention a little bit about what that's like to be a working actor where you're going to different cities? It's probably gets a little lonely at first, at least.
Sure. I was I was so excited. At the same time, I have a little, small group that back home that I like to, with friends, and so I was, anxious to say the least, kind of, meet everybody. But we had one dinner,
Yeah.
and then that just kind of broke the ice.
Yeah.
But no, we go out to eat every night, pretty much. At least hang out, see a movie, something like that.
Yeah.
So you guys have really created a little special spot for each other to keep,
It's just everyone's different, but I tend to believe that, we all kind of have the same feelings as far as, we're by ourselves out here.
Yeah.
Just kind of reaching out to someone and say, hey, I know we're in the same boat.
And don't you think actors are kind of like that anyway? We're kind of all like, let's get close.
Yeah.
Let's know each other. I mean, most of us.
It
Yeah.
helps too, especially when you're doing a scene, Like, we had what, 3 or 4 scenes just of us
Yeah.
yesterday, and all of mine, not to spoil it, but are not nice scenes. I say some pretty gnarly stuff, but just to be knowing it, our relationship outside of it definitely helps, and just being comfortable, and even just kind of bouncing ideas kind of off of each other, saying, hey, what do you think? No, it's not the best.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Oh,
You
I
know
love
what
the
mean?
freedom.
Yeah.
To
You just
do
kind
that.
of
Yeah.
decide to hopefully do it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
But I think it just kind of helps everyone.
Good. Good. Well, I would love to hear also from all 3 of you about things that you see that actors come in and do well on set. Maybe they're day players, or they're there for a week, and things that you see that because you guys are there all the time. So how can other actors who are day playing or whatever make your job easier? How have they made it more, challenging at times so that we can learn some of the do's or don'ts of what to expect on the set?
Good question.
Yeah. I think the energy that you bring to set is very obvious. It's crazy, right? Like when you're not booking roles or when you're just starting off, all you want to do is be on set. But I found that, I don't know what happens, it's so easy to treat set all of a sudden when you've been doing it a while like work. So people want to be on set so bad, and then they get to set and they're like, oh my gosh, how long is this gonna take? When are we gonna wrap? It's just this feeling of not wanting to be there, which I think everyone kind of feels. And the crew, the cameramen, the lighting, or cameramen and women, people,
Yes.
the lighting department, everyone works such long hours.
Yeah.
So for me, I found that when people come to set and they're like, okay, I'm on set, I'm very grateful to be here, and let's just enjoy this time together, that's the best thing you could do. Whether you're there for a day, for one scene, for background, you don't even have lines, that's what I try to do when I go to a set.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you're listening to the perfect person for this, because
Yeah.
she, not to embarrass her or anything like that, but she's the type of person that when she goes on set, the whole energy, the whole room, the whole mood changes. And
I think it's important because it's
100%,
long.
because it's
Wow,
almost
it
like
really is.
you see your colleague for the next day, and you're like, alright, what am I doing? Oh, I work with Kiana. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
but just to be that have that presence on set, and just I just remember, I guess for my just 2 cents, remember for 13 I was scared. I was scared, and I just didn't want to be I don't know, I didn't want to go up to them because I felt like they had a strong foundation after season 1, and I didn't want to be like, yeah, what's up, man? Nice to see you. And then it's kind of I don't really know you.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I
I just
mean?
watched you all last
Yeah,
season.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt, because I was a fan of the show before, and so I was just so excited to be there. But I mean, I guess if you're, the energy definitely helps, and just
Be prepared.
be prepared.
Yeah, know your lines.
Yeah.
Especially, well, not especially, always know your lines.
Yeah.
Whether you're on set every day, just treat it be professional. Treat it you got the role, but also it's not like a vacation.
Yeah, you're not done.
Yeah, you're not done. Your work's not done. So
Because they just show up to you and be like, you have the lines that you memorized the night before, and they're like, all right, we're gonna scratch this line out, we're gonna add this new line. So
Yeah.
you have to know at least the foundation, right, of your line.
Which is a big question I get
That is
down
true.
here. I get actors saying like, oh, how do I memorize all these lines? Do you guys have any tricks for, and then I'm going to you too, any tricks for memorization, or what would be your response to that for these guys?
I like to write my lines out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Something about writing them out just kind of clicks more up here.
Yeah.
And the more I do it, I kind of almost envision the scene, especially kind of, you know, the second time around, right? The second season, like I'm like, all right, I kind of know my character a little bit more. I kind of know the other characters.
You know his voice.
Yeah.
How he would
So as I'm like writing them down, like, all right, maybe for this line or for this beat, I kind of want to move this way, or kind of. It sounds so weird or corny, but like it just.
No, not to us.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It helps me.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, good. No, it just helps me, visualize like the scene. So like the next day, I kind of already have in my mind. I could be totally wrong too. That's the thing, but like a walkthrough of it, so at least you have a basic kind of understanding. Because then there's been times where I'm, oh, this is how the scene's gonna be, and I show up the next day, and the actor opposite of you, kind of, brings something to it, and you're like, oh wow, okay, this is kind of what's gonna happen for the scene. It's
again where that is living truthfully in imaginary circumstances, where you
Yeah.
kind of like imagine the imaginary circumstances, you bring that truth, but it's flexible and open to somebody else's truth, so it changes.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, writing.
That's awesome. I have never given that bit of advice. Right? Right? He's like, he's been here since he was like really young. He's like, nope. That one. See?
Oh,
it can be the one for
This
you.
is the one to learn here from. Yeah. What about you? How do you have any tips
I like repetition. Like if I have like, let's say like a long monologue, I'll like learn like the first few sentences and then make sure I like really understand what that is and memorize that, and then I'll add on, and then once I add on, I'll go from the top and I'll go like that,
Yeah.
and then add on and go from the top. Like I like doing it like that. Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
A little OCD and like check, got that one down. Yeah, but now I'm gonna try writing. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that is
Cool,
really
like
cool. I used to
No,
write it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only because I didn't have a printer.
Just to write out the lines.
Yeah.
That's cute.
That also sounds very familiar. They're like, well, I've got all my lines on my phone.
Yeah.
And I use my, I'm like, no.
No, yeah.
So question, what about you on set? What have you noticed that makes things a little easier, a little harder to be there? And then do you have any tips for memorizing?
Well, I agree with both of you guys for the first question. And yeah, just bring all your energy on set. And when you first meet people, just don't make it awkward, because that doesn't really help at all. Especially when somebody's playing your dad, it just doesn't.
Larry.
And the way I learn my lines is almost exactly how Kiana does it. So I learn the first line and I repeat it, and then I learn the second line and maybe the third line,
Yeah.
and I do it from the top, and then I learn the fourth line or fifth line, and then I do it from there, and yeah, and I keep going like that. And then so Brianna, who's the main star, so she told me that she kind of learned her lines by recording the other person's lines on her phone.
There's an app that
Yeah.
you can get, I think it's called Ad-Lib or something, that you can get and do the other lines.
Yeah.
They have to be like, you have to be like really
It's-
on top of it to record everything.
It's really weird though, since like sometimes like you record it, but you take too long of a pause and you end up talking on your recording.
Yeah. It takes a really smart person to get that down. I want to go back to something that Brandon said and just touch on it, because I know that any one of you could be on a show. I mean, we work down here, we work so hard, and I know some of you are just bending over backwards. You have for years to be where you're at with your craft. He said that when he got to 13 Reasons, he felt scared. Isn't that just so human? Like, you look at the show, you look at people on the shows, and you're like, oh, nothing scares them. They're so fearless. I'm not like that. I'm not like fill in the blank. But I just wanted to say that was really invaluable to admit that to us, because it's scary.
Well, no, if you want to hear more.
Yeah, we do. We want to hear. No, we want to hear more.
Story.
Yeah, tell
Very
us.
relatable.
You want to talk about a terrible first day? I thought it was.
We do. We want to hear the term. We want to hear about it.
So I was just so. First off, it just happened so quickly. I flew up to San Francisco for have like a callback producer session, like the last week. And as I flew back and I found out I got the call. And they're like, all right, we need you the next few days. I just couldn't wrap my mind around. I don't know. So the first day on set, oh man, my first scene was I don't know if you guys even know or remember, but there was we're on the baseball field, and it was a scene with me. I'll name Ross Butler.
Oh, hang on, we did that.
Ross Butler, Justin Prentice, and Timothy Granaderos. They're all amazing, and they still like give me shit. But it's oh man, I had a line, and honestly I still don't even know what the line means. I had to come up being like, what is this, guys? The Delta Conference, the Dayton Accords. Of course I know it, and I'll always remember it now.
I'll never forget it.
But for whatever reason, I don't even know in the context. I'm pretty much supposed to be like, all right, what are we like talking about? Because the whole point is they're supposed to have like a mound visit on the baseball field, and I kind of go up to them, and the whole purpose is like, all right, guys, why are you like talking? Let's go back to practice, and that's I guess what the line is supposed to mean. But they had like back and forth dialogue for a good like page and a half, and then my only thing I'm supposed to do is walk up, hit my mark, and just say that line.
Oh no.
For whatever reason, I'm still like, I'm sweating. Just
Oh no.
I just couldn't get it out. I just couldn't get it out. So I would stop there and like hit my mark and. And then they're like, all right, cut, back to one, let's go. Script revise. I'm walking
Get back to one for the new guy.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. I'm not exaggerating.
That hurts.
I literally thought, because it wasn't just once, it wasn't just twice, it wasn't just 3 times. It was like, I talked to Ross Butler the other day, and he's like, yeah, it was about like, as I was telling the story to someone else, and I was like, oh, about 3-4 times. Oh, dude, that was about like 8.
Oh, no. I mean, that's pretty
8
good.
times. Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, but I love this
No. But I had the script supervisor come up to me, she's like, honey, this is the line. We're just gonna like cut it. I'm like, yo, this is my first day, my first scene. I'm gonna get fired. There's no way I'm gonna be coming back. I had like one other scene I had to do later that day, and thankfully I didn't mess
What
that
was
up.
it like when you went home from set that night?
Well then, so of course my manager's like, tell me all about it, I want to hear it. And I'm like, it was great. And everyone was so nice, and even like, honestly, like even when I was messing up so badly, they would all be like, hey man, you know, it's the first day, you get it, you've been there before. Even the producers would come up, so they were very, very nice, but, oh man.
See guys, you're never gonna do that.
No, please don't.
You're gonna be
Please don't.
fine.
Talk about like having a dream or kind of a nightmare where you're like wake up and you're like
Yeah.
in a show and you just don't know your lines, or a play and you just don't know.
We have dreams like that all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually
Kiana, do you have anything that's like that that's ever happened on a set?
Please,
Yeah.
go ahead. Please.
Not really like that. I just like remember my first time being in a show. Like I booked this role, I was 17, and I was like number 2 on the call sheet, like on set every day, and just like I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like literally being on set, being like, I don't know. I felt like I was very uncomfortable, like in my own skin. Like, you know, just being like, I feel awkward. No matter what I do, I feel awkward.
Yeah.
And I pretty much did the whole first season like that. And then we got to season 2, and all of a sudden it was like something changed where I was like, I know I can do this. And unfortunately it took me a whole season to feel that way, but it was definitely a learning experience being like, you know, like you got the role, lots of people auditioned, you booked it, you're here for a reason kind of thing. But I remember like that, even when I watched that first season, I like have a lot of compassion for myself, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember feeling so uncomfortable. And like, yeah, but I feel like that happens a lot. Just in
I
life
think
too.
it does too, and it's that sort of like self-awareness
Yeah.
where you're like, everybody's probably looking at me and thinking and judging,
Yeah.
and really they're just there to do their job. You're there to do your job, but
Yeah.
at every stage, you know, that is how it feels. I think, I mean, I've watched interviews with Nicole Kidman and Meryl Streep and Julianne Moore, and they sat down to do the hours, and every one of them were convinced they were not good enough to be there. And they tried to quit, and they were like, no, I mean, everybody else knows what to do, and I don't. And I think that makes sense to me, though, because we kind of go, oh, filming is up here. When really, it's the art and the continuation towards that that's most important. If we remember that, we're fine.
Exactly.
But we get caught up with cameras, lights, a lot of people, and there's so many people on these sets. I mean, what's that like? What was that like for you, Parker? Because you just show up, you're a little bit younger than they are, you know, and you show up and there's just a lot of people.
I don't really mind it. I mean, for the trinket set, not at all, because I was kind of used to that. I mean, having tons of lights just on me and tons of people moving around, and just, yeah. But
So
that
okay
was
then.
kind of like, it was like my previous set experiences, but like times 3, like much more lighting.
Well,
and,
you
like,
do a lot of commercials too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and commercials
I did
are
some
big sets. So if you guys get on commercials, it's a great way to kind of get prepped and ready for a major film or you know, a TV series. So
Yeah.
Even these lights, you could take your class in this room.
we do.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Such a good setup.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have a lot of, they work on camera and they work with, we do a lot of mock auditions for people. They go down to their local casting offices and get to talk with them and meet people from the sets and stuff. But I wanted to turn it over. I have questions from some of these guys, if that's okay. And then if anybody out there that's watching has a question, Kylie, let us know if you have something that you think would be awesome. So let's see, there's several that we've gone through. Oh, I like these questions. These are good. Okay, we can do 1 or 2 or whatever. First one on this form is, what are the best words of advice you can give? And the second one is, how do you deal with stress? Another great question. So, what are the best words of advice you can give? No pressure. And how do you deal with stress, which is a very real thing for all of us actors?
Personally, my advice is, obviously you really have to love it. You really have to want to do it, because you're gonna be, not to be negative, but you're gonna hear no's. And so that was something I'm still kind of getting. I'm used to it. I'm used to getting the no's, but it's the I don't. Maybe it's just never gonna get used to it.
I don't think so.
But I guess the other thing too is auditioning. When you're actually in the auditioning room, it's so weird, and I wish it's not like this. At least in LA, it's pretty small room, and obviously you're going up against everyone who else is going up against for that role, and you see kind of 3 or 4 clones of yourself in the room, and then it's so weird. Sometimes you're going over your stuff, which you do. At least I need to before. You kind of get these looks of everyone across the room, kind of checking everyone out. Oh shit! I saw him in this show last week. He's really good. Oh man, he's really good.
Psyching yourself out in the waiting room.
Psyching myself up in the waiting room, and that's been some stuff where I'm oh, I know my lines front and back, but then especially in New York too, I'm sure everywhere, but LA, you would see some people that are, oh wow, I love your work, and I've seen you, on these shows.
Absolutely.
That can kind of get in your head, and just kind of, I'm going on and on, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. But just real quick, how do you deal with stress? Do you get stressed?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. Do you do anything to help with that?
Cliche, staying active, working out, helps. Talking helps, especially if you have that solid group. And I've been so lucky to call this, cast a family, really, really close family.
Yeah. Talking.
Yeah.
Because a lot of actors, and we talk about this in our groups a lot, especially with my older teens, we deal with depression, real anxiety, real fear, especially when you're not working. That can come up.
The rent's wait, I need to be paying
Right.
this, and how many weeks? And
Yeah. What about you, Kiana? How do you deal with stress, and what's the best advice you can give?
Okay, well, this is very personal. So the best advice I could give, like for me personally, I have a really strong relationship with God. Yeah, and
They're used to
when
hearing about that, by the way.
Okay.
I do too. They're
Okay,
like, yeah, we
okay,
know
'cause
already.
I don't know, you know. But I have a really strong relationship with God. I pray a lot. And with that being said, I really trust in God's plan for me. So I think that already helps with stress so much. Just believing that you aren't in control of everything. And that takes a lot of pressure off too, because we often feel like, you know, we could be doing more, or it's my fault I didn't book this role, or it's my fault they didn't like me, or whatever the reason is. But just trusting that you are loved eternally by God and God has a plan for you, I think already like helps so much. And having faith in something, you know, if you're not necessarily Christian, but you trust in something other than yourself, because we're just human. So there's only so much we can handle. And I think like through depression and anxiety and all of that, having a strong faith is really life-changing. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and I also love doing yoga and meditating and like
Self-care.
dancing. I've like started dancing. It's so fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great way to stay active. So that really touches me specifically, and I know several of my actors as well. So thank you for being open about that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I find people in the film industry will keep our little Christianity under the carpet, but not me. I'm like, hey, guess what?
Yeah, you
It's
know.
okay. It's okay out here too.
It's all coming from a place of love, and
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so what is the best advice that you can give? I'm not even gonna ask you how you deal with stress, because I'm gonna guess you're not a very stressed out dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you, what's some advice you could give about maybe being on the show or getting on the show?
Well, when you have like a really hard script and a really long page script and all that, you kind of, you know, so you got the opportunity, and even if it's really stressful and hard to do, then you still have to do it, because, I mean, like I said, you got the opportunity and you don't know, and it's also really fun. And another piece of advice I'd probably give is just believe in yourself.
Yes! Woo! Yeah, we need to round of applause. I don't think anybody can say that enough to us actors, right, you guys? Because it's like, we need to hear it like all day, every day. No,
Katie.
thank you. That was beautiful.
Katie,
Yeah, yes.
we have a few questions
Yes.
coming in, so
Oh,
I'll give you a
good.
couple.
What's happening out there?
Well, we have a couple of people just popping in, saying hello. But the first question is how do you deal with the waiting period after the audition?
How do you deal with waiting after the audition? Which is great, because this other question says, what is the audition process like for Netflix? So maybe a quick mention about Netflix auditions, and what's it like to wait? You know, because first, if you guys don't know out there, or just as a reminder, I'm here, you go in for an audition, that's not it. There's a callback, sometimes more, sometimes there's a chemistry test. Then you might get put on a veil or hold, and then there's that wait period. You still might not have the job. Then sometimes you get cast on a show with Paramount Pictures and they cut it, so that happens too. So what is it like to audition for the Netflix process for you two? And because I know you went through the local channels here, which was awesome, and then the wait period.
Yeah, at least my audition process for Trinkets, it was a casting director that, you know, I've auditioned for quite a bit. Actually, it was for one project that he had, and I got to chemistry read and didn't end up happening. They're going, you know, they booked someone else, but he remembered me from that project, and he was kind of saying like, hey, even for the first audition, he was like, hey, I really kind of like you for this role, and if you're available, and I don't know, it was my first for someone to ever say that or show that interest right in front. Because usually you walk in and they kind of like look you up and down and almost kind of want to see if you could take that intimidation factor. I don't know if I get that, but yeah, I auditioned once. I got a call back the following week, and then I auditioned again, and then they told me like they went with someone else. So I was like, oh really? And then
For Trinkets.
for Trinkets.
Oh, so he was literally told
I wasn't their first choice.
that they've passed.
Yeah, they said they had
Wow.
someone else. They were interested in someone else, and I was like, oh shit, okay.
That hurts.
Yeah, and a few days later that same week, they said, actually, we want to see you read one more time. And I read, and then that night, I found out they're like, all right, we need to do Portland tomorrow for the table read. I'm like, What?
Best choice they ever made.
Yeah.
So the waiting process.
So the waiting process then, what do I do?
Well, what's it like? How do you deal with it?
Yeah.
No, I find not very well for myself.
No, I don't either. It's tough. Especially like something that you really like the project or
Yeah.
people involved with the character. It's sometimes hard to let go. For me though, and I guess that kind of falls into the waiting game of it all, is you just have to kind of accept that hey, it wasn't for me, it was for her or him or them. It wasn't my time. And during that waiting period, as tough as it can be sometimes, you just have to remind yourself of that.
Yeah. And you got lucky early on to get that lesson from your brother a little bit. That your
Sure,
brother
yeah.
it was his turn, not yours. And you're fighting for everything you get, which I love about you. And it's much deserved. But it's not just like, hey, I'm here, Hollywood. Give me all my rules now.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They're like, that's great,
Yeah,
okay.
no, yeah.
That
So
is
I
really
guess
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Kiana? What would you say it's like for you to wait? And what was briefly about how you would audition for Netflix?
It's funny, like Netflix I feel like is just like auditioning for anything. They don't really do anything too specific in my personal experience. It started with a self-tape, and then I got a call for another self-tape with a couple of notes, and then eventually they were like, okay, we want you to do a screen test, so they flew me to LA, and then I auditioned there with like a room. The room kind of was like this size.
It does remind me.
And it was like chairs, and I remember just seeing like so many women. Like
Wow,
executive
I
producers,
love
writers, it was like a lot
Like,
of
how
women.
many people were in the room at your audition? Because I'm already feeling like my heart.
Yeah, I'd
I'd
say
tell
like
people I'm good with
15.
it. Wow.
Yeah, I'd say like 15.
How would you guys like to audition in a room full of 15 Netflix executives?
Yeah.
Yeah, no big
They
deal.
were, yeah, but also it was crazy because I'm like, Netflix is huge, but they were so nice.
They are nice,
Yeah, so it didn't it wasn't too
You
intimidating.
guys have a great showrunner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it Sarah?
Sarah's for season 2 now, yeah.
What
she's
a
great.
delight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what about the waiting for your roles? You audition and then you wait. What do you?
I think it's comforting knowing that everyone experiences it, and it's like not the greatest feeling. Like everyone is like thinking about it, and like if you journal, you're journaling about it, and you're like just like you want it so bad. So just know that like you're not crazy for like thinking about it so much. But also something that I learned is like not even your thoughts can prevent something that's meant to happen to
Yes.
you.
Wait,
Like,
say that again.
yeah.
Pull up, my actors. Write this
Yeah.
down. Go ahead. Say it one more time.
Not even your thoughts can prevent what's meant for you to happen to you.
I just think that's great for life.
Yeah, seriously.
Like
For real.
dating, life,
Yeah, you could think you're like overthinking so much, you're preventing it from happening. You're like putting out this energy that's like, oh, I thought about it too much now, of course it's not gonna happen, or like,
Yeah.
it's crazy, like that's not true.
No.
So if you're gonna think about it during the waiting process, just try to think positive. Because the thinking is gonna happen, probably.
It's inevitable.
Unless you're so busy with auditions, which helps. Because you're like, you do one and then you're like, right, I got another one, I gotta think about this, I got another one. So keeping busy helps.
I think what Parker said earlier too about you get it and you're prepared right away.
Yeah.
Because if you do the work and you're prepared and you're ready, then you laid everything on the table. Then you
Yeah.
thought there's nothing more you could have done.
Exactly.
The ball's in their court.
Yeah.
Did your,
And that's where you rely on that faith that it's meant to be. That was a great question though.
Yeah.
Thank you out there. We love your question. Okay, so more awesome questions. I love this one. I'm gonna love a lot of these, by the way. So you guys are so good. I love you. What is something that you wish that you were told a long time ago about the acting industry?
I wish you were told a long time ago.
That's good.
It's funny, like, I feel like I was told a lot of things, but I didn't realize the importance of them until, like, now. Like, for example, something we always hear is be yourself. But, like, I really realized how important that is, especially doing what we do as actors. Like, I can guarantee, and already, like, from looking at all of you, I can tell that everyone is so different. And bringing those things that are different about you to your roles is so magical and so important. Because, yeah.
Whatever quirks that you might
Yeah.
think that is quirky or whatever about you, they're gonna love. I know it
Yeah.
sounds, but yeah, I
Yeah.
find that it's It's tough to top. See, you know?
Yeah, that's,
even in a scene,
but
like,
we can all just agree with her, because I think
Yeah.
that's a really fantastic one. Because you can't say that enough, that just like, if you can find a way to prepare enough to have the quiet confidence and let the real you show through, like, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
Right, is that what you were just saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always let the real you shine through.
Especially late at night.
Oh, yeah,
I remember that we did like a scene like a couple of weeks ago where you came straight from school, which is already like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost a full day school.
And like during night shoots, people are really like just like, I'm just like so tired, I can't even pretend to be something. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like having that kind of mentality all the time is amazing.
Yeah, and that's that happy energy that you have to kind of have to stay on set. Okay, I love this question. This is a personal question for all three of you. But I think one that like a lot of my actors and teens out there, especially and some of my younger students, can really, really relate to. What are some of the challenges that you guys face on set or just in your day-to-day lives? Like, what are challenges for you guys?
Whatever's personally going on in your life. Sometimes you can bring that to the character, whatever, it depends on what scene or emotion you're supposed to be bringing that day, but kind of leaving that at the door. Sometimes, you might have something personal going on in your life, or some days you're just like, I just not feeling it today. You kind of have to leave it, at home, in a sense, and for that hour on set, those 5 hours, those 12-hour days on set, however long you have to be there, just dedicated to that role and that character, because everyone else around you is putting in that work.
And it's still gonna be there for you when you get off work.
It's still gonna be off, and that's yes, but sometimes that can you can also bring it to your character sometimes if you're feeling a certain type of way, right? It's tough. That's a tough question.
What about for you? What are some of the challenges that you face either on set or in your own personal life?
It's like so crazy. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people can probably relate. Like, I don't know if it's like being like a female or being human. I think like the number one like most personal challenge that I face is body image, and like like the way that we see ourselves and what we look like. Like, it's been something that I think I've like struggled with for a little bit, and it's been such a learning experience. Like, especially in the industry that we're in, I feel like people are gonna tell you, or honestly, no one has told me to change the way that I look, but I have this like preconceived idea that like, in order, to like, I'm like gonna lead a film now, I have to make sure that I'm like looking a certain way, and like, I can tell you from my heart that that's not true. Like, it's really, really not true. Some of the actors that I most admire they all look different. They're all different shapes and sizes, but it's something that I struggle with personally, like just being like, I am perfect the way that I am, and like some days my body looks different than others, and certain times in my life I have more time to exercise, I have less time to exercise, and like, that's something that I think is challenging for a lot of people, like just looking in the mirror and loving what you see. And I think like also knowing that we're all going through that together, I think it's a very human experience. So just knowing that it's part of living, and like truly like everyone is so beautiful, and it's so easy for me to see that looking at you guys, how beautiful everyone is.
Right.
Sometimes it's harder looking in the mirror and being like, I also am so beautiful, and I think everyone can relate to that. So, just knowing that like, no matter what status you get to, how many roles you book, you're not gonna get to a point where everything's gonna be like magical. Like, just know that we all are the same, and like we can connect on that level, because everyone is so beautiful.
And the more that people talk about it that are in the position that y'all are in, to be able to say, no, we struggle too. Like,
we struggle too, and like, we don't deserve to live lives where we're constantly worried about what we look like. Like, truly, we have so much to give as artists and as humans that like, as long as we let what we love to do shine, you will instantly like just be a bright light and be beautiful. So sometimes it's hard to acknowledge that in yourself, but it's true.
whenever you're done with this cute acting thing you have going, we'll let you come just be one of our teachers, please.
That's what I'm telling you.
I feel so inspired.
When she comes on set, it's
That's
just
awesome,
energy, it's
yeah.
just this warmth.
But it's so true and it's so real, and we are constantly talking about this down here.
Yeah, that's
Obviously.
amazing that you talk about it.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, these guys they get real. They
Yeah,
get
that's
real.
so good.
So thank you for being one of us and sharing that.
And acknowledging that will only make you a better artist.
Yes.
Because we feel things, and as soon as we talk about them and make them, like we don't run from them or hide from them, you're just even more open to give to your art.
And somebody else goes, they struggle too. I'm
Exactly.
gonna be okay.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? What would you say?
So I really agree with Brandon about what he said, and kind of like, so there's that scene where I stayed up till like 12 a.m. Filming something, and I had a full day of school before that, and I left my backpack at school, and I was I was like, no. Luckily, I didn't have any homework assigned that day. Well, I finished all my homework, but so I was like nervous that my water bottle would go missing and that my backpack would also go missing.
You just started
So
to
I
talk
was-
yourself into stress.
Yeah, so I was stressed out. But then for the Thanksgiving scene, we had to all be happy, and I kind of just let that go and just played my character, and yeah.
And did you find the water bottle?
Yes.
Okay. It's part of like we get ourselves all worked up about. And that's very real. That's very real to you.
Yeah.
You know, in that moment, just like something else for us might be very real in that moment, but setting it aside and being like, I'm at work, I have a job to do, like Brandon said, and those things are. I'll think about them in a minute. You know.
And also, I still get nervous for auditions sometimes.
You do?
Yeah.
I can't believe you.
Well, me too.
I've seen you audition. I'm like, oh my gosh. I just like to like, oh, rub off on this kid.
Yeah, so like some casting directors, they've been like on so many things, and like you
Yeah.
show what you have, but after all, they're just still people, and it doesn't like mean that like, oh, I did super bad because I messed up on just this one word. And so, yeah.
8 times. Well,
That's
sweet. You know what? I like what Parker just said about casting directors being real people, because directors are real people, agents are real people. They've got families. They've got Thanksgiving dinner. They've got family drama at Thanksgiving dinner. Like, so if you take in the attitude that you're going to show them what you've got and be your best and leave it the rest up to, you know, how it's supposed to be, then you kind of set that aside from be thinking of that for yourself, right? That's awesome. Is there anything else, Kylie, from out there? How am I doing?
There is, yes. One of them was, what was it like working with Coach Katie?
Thanks, Dad.
It's your
It
husband.
was awesome.
It was who?
It's your husband.
Oh, oh, honey, I love you. Brandon, what was it like working with Coach
It was
Katie?
great working with Katie. I met October, plays your mom.
Yeah.
So October more. She was, was it table read? Something like that, I think I had to be. She was like, oh, I know Katie O'Grady, she plays your mom. Me and her go way back, and so I already knew, I already kind of knew of, you know, you, and then, yeah, kind of, I remember in the hair and makeup trailer, everyone knew Katie. It was like, oh, hey, nice to see you again, and so I was like, oh, okay. And then, I remember, I'm trying to think, the rehearsal, I remember you jumped.
Oh,
It was a total accident, but
yeah, you kicked the table
I
or
was supposed
something, and everything went flying, and I almost
Yeah.
flew out in mid-chair.
during the rehearsal, like, we're supposed to do, it's a Thanksgiving, it's actually, Thanksgiving, and, yeah, during rehearsal, like, I'm supposed to, like, kick my brother in the show, I guess, I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but, I kicked this person across the table, and I wanted it to be, like, on camera to show, like, the table jumped, or there was, like, it was obvious, right, it was obviously underneath. I don't think we're gonna get shot at kicking or nothing like that, so I wanted to have like some kind of, the table kind of like jump or like, anyway, so I kicked the table too hard. I remember the first day, or like the first time doing the rehearsal, I think you were like, oh, like,
Yeah.
you said something like that, and it was,
Yeah, I'm sure. So,
I
yeah.
don't know, was thinking like, oh.
You're just
one
lucky
day-
I just didn't go.
Yeah.
You guys also like totally believable. Like you look
That's what they
like
Thank you.
Yeah,
There you go.
very.
Thank you. I was telling Brandon the story that I showed my real son, Grady, you know, who's almost 16, a picture of Brandon. I was like, look, we look like he could be my son. He goes, no, he doesn't. Sorry, you're right.
I think we passed.
He's just like, I'd love to ask you about October because she's one of my best friends and she's an incredible actor here in the community. Tell me about working with October.
October is like so amazing. Like,
Yeah.
so professional and lighthearted and like has such a great sense of humor. Like, and I see her like just the director gives her notes and she just like executes like with so much fun. Like, you know, she always is like, I don't know, she's really inspiring to me because she has like such a beautiful energy, you know. She's like always like telling us stories about her like Puff the bearded dragon and like her cat and how they're friends and like
The cat gets into the aquarium with the bearded dragon. I've taken like Insta stories. I'm like, there is a cat
yeah,
with the bearded dragon. They're sleeping together.
Yeah, October, no, she's just really, really great. Like every time she's on set, it's like we were saying before, like such a positive light, and even if like she makes mistakes, like because we all make mistakes, she'll kind of just laugh it off, and like it really, really helps like the whole dynamic on set. So
She is also a local actress that works on a lot of the shows here, and you guys, some of you have met her before, but
yeah, she's really, really amazing.
yeah, that's awesome. I wanted to take one more minute before what we'd love to do is get each class that's here would like to get up and get a picture with you guys, if that's okay with you. But I wanted to just give you guys each a moment to say anything that you would want to say to these aspiring, hardworking. These guys show up every week and then some plus, and especially my master's students who are required to do, they do internships, they clean the studio, they help teach at the studio, they're very hardworking. And this goes on for a year, it's a year-round program down here. What would you say to these guys sitting out here? Just anything that you'd like to say to them? Parker, why don't you go first? Give Brandon a second. But just because some of these folks you've been in some classes with and know, like, what would you say about acting or doing the job that you love to do, or doing it from Portland? Anything come to mind?
Well, kind of like I said, just believe in yourself and also just keep going, and if you enjoy it, then just keep doing it, because at some point you'll get an opportunity like I got.
Yes.
And I booked Netflix and I was happy.
But I like what he said. When you keep going, at some point you'll get an opportunity. And if the timing is right, then it will be their time, right? You just never can know when that's supposed to be. And that the local market too is the most perfect playground. There's just so many wonderful shows that are shooting here, have shot here. So it's a great time to kind of be able to have a wonderful childhood, go to school, and get to be a working actor, right? What about you, Kiana? You said so many things. You can just repeat all of them. I'm happy. But do we miss anything that you'd want to share with these guys?
It's like kind of what Parker said, like honestly keep going. I am a firm believer that if perseverance, especially in acting, and especially in like this industry, is everything. Like if you don't give up, you will book a role. The only way you're not going to be a professional actor or work on set is if you quit. Like realistically, as long as you keep taking classes, keep having fun, and you keep auditioning and putting yourself out there, I promise you will. Like you don't know when, but you will. Even we have conversations like, oh man, the show's wrapping. Like what are we gonna do next? And I'm just like, I know that we will do something. Like it's crazy. Like the only way we're not gonna do something is if we literally stop. So just know that like it might not be tomorrow, or it might not be like whenever you think it's gonna be, but if you keep going and don't quit, I promise you can message me and be like, if you're like 90, be like, I still never booked a role, but I promise you will.
Yeah. Well, and the movie Field of Dreams, like, say what you want about it, but the whole, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Like, if you focus on the building, then
Yeah.
Come, you
Yeah.
know, just build.
And have fun.
Never give up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, have fun.
Yeah. You guys seem like you have so much fun here.
We do.
Seems like
Oh,
a great
yeah.
studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
I can tell. It's
You're
just,
so sweet.
yeah.
I love this guy. Anything else that we missed, Brandon, like from you?
I feel like Parker and Kiana just.
Okay, we'll ask you one last question then. What's it like to have to deal, or have you had to deal with like a kissing scene yet, or anything like that on camera for our older?
I had to do one last season with Quintessa, with Tabitha.
Oh, that's right, yep.
It's pretty much communication is the only way. Yeah.
Did you guys practice that? Because I know a lot of our teams, we do like, we do teen intensives down here where we kind of deal with intimacy issues and space. Did you guys have a conversation ahead of time?
Well,
What's that like?
Yeah, no, our director, Sarah Sanon, she was our Block 1 director last season, and she's back for this season too, which we love her. But yeah, it was early on, and especially just kind of having to be like, all right, we're supposed to be a couple in the show, we don't really know each other, and to make that look legit on screen, because that's our job. We pretty much was in, it was like first day, second day, it was a room with Contessa and I, and then Sarah pretty much saying like, all right, let's hear it. What was your high school experience like? What's your love like?
So she kind of talked it through with you
So
guys.
you pretty much had to just kind of like
Open
everything up, and
because people look at it and it's like, oh, it looks so great and easy.
oh, it looks so great, it looks easy. Not when it's, and of course, you know, you'll most likely have like closed sets is what it's called, so you pretty much will only have like the DP or like the camera guy, the director, maybe sometimes you're even on monitors out, you know, outside the room. But even then, just kind of being like, there's people in here and I'm dressed, and yeah, it's like it's a different dynamic for sure. Just communication,
Yeah.
I guess.
What you're comfortable with.
Yeah. what
Don't be
you're
afraid to
comfortable with, what you're
say.
not. And that's, express literally everything. Always, but especially, you know, during, you know, an intimate scene like that.
Kiana, how do you handle that situation?
Mo was.
Yeah, with Odysseus, we have a lot of scenes like that in Trinkets, and like, it helps that we're very close, like Offset. But our very first scene together in season 1, like, it was his first day on set, and our very first scene was like a makeout scene. So I think, especially like with everything that's happening in the industry with like sexual harassment and assault and stuff, it's very, very important, like Brandon said, to be vocal. Like, I'm comfortable with you touching me, like here. I'm not comfortable with this. Like, not feeling like you need to just go with the flow. Like, you have a voice, so you can tell people and communicate with your scene partner. And if you're ever asked to do something that you're not comfortable with, don't think you're difficult to work with. You're not being a diva. You're not being like, you know, anything. You can just say like, well, I talked with my scene partner, and like that's not what we kind of decided what we were gonna do. So I think we're just gonna stick with like what we planned. And
That's a great
yeah.
way. Did you guys hear that for my older teens? Like, I've talked with my scene partner, this is what we've talked about doing, and we're just gonna stick with that plan.
Yeah.
That's a nice but firm way of saying, we're not gonna do what you just said.
Because a lot of times on set, you know, people have great intentions, but you'll learn, and I've learned too, that people will try to see how much they can get away with and get you to do. And it's not coming from a bad place, but if you're really not comfortable with it, you don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with. So just being vocal.
I love that.
Yeah.
Communicate, be vocal, don't do what you're not comfortable with. Also probably made a big difference that you became friends beforehand.
For
Like,
sure.
take a minute to know
Get
the
to know
person.
them, yeah.
Yes.
You don't always have to have the opportunity though.
No.
Yeah.
I like to say, don't be weird.
Don't be weird,
Yeah,
yeah,
Don't
exactly.
be weird,
It's
don't be
only weird
creepy,
if
don't be
you-
weird,
Exactly.
okay?
It's only
This
weird
is
if
my
you-
place. Yeah, yeah, I know my younger students are out there just dying, They're like, why are they talking about this right now?
Yeah.
Why, what's happening? So, what is next? Or if nothing, then we love that too, because I also understand, like, you like to do work, and then you're like, what next? But is there something on the horizon that you could share that's happening, or are we just focusing on season 2 right now?
For me, at least personally, it's been a lot of. I went back to LA briefly for like a meeting for a possible show sometime next year. so it's a lot of just auditioning. So yeah, no, it's as far as work, I have season 2 of Trinkets, and I'm kind of back on the free agency.
Yeah,
I'm still
same.
kind of finding a job.
Free agent, I like it. Looking for work in all the right places.
Exactly.
I have no doubt it will come to play. What about you?
Yeah, me too. Same thing. I have like Fear Street coming out next year, and then season 2 of Trinkets. But as far as like things lined up to film, no, just like back to auditioning. I'm moving to New York, which is new for me. So I'm excited. I'm excited to like.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
So exciting. I can
Thank
totally see you there.
Yeah,
You're gonna be a
I'm
breath of
excited.
fresh air. New York, get ready. She's coming.
Thank you. But yeah, just like Christmas with the family, like holidays. You know, I'm going to Jamaica for New Year's, so that will be fun. Just kind of like.
You guys are gonna get some time off, it sounds like.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
wrap and then like things aren't super busy right now, I don't think. It's like holidays and so yeah, but we're like literally the same position as you guys, like just auditioning, which is exciting.
And even more so, just like the days on set, because we were just even like, we wrap in how many more days?
Yeah, it's like we're almost
really,
done.
it sounds cliche, but genuinely like just appreciate your time on set.
Yeah.
Because it lies and all of a sudden you're like, wow, that's done. I have to look for another one.
Move on. to the
Yeah.
next thing. Do you have any big things coming up, Parker? What's happening for you?
No, well, I have a full week of school off.
Nice. A whole week of school off? That's better than
Have
almost.
you been talking about the movie in a while?
Oh,
That's how it should
yeah.
be, just
You're in a movie called Here a While.
with Anna Cam,
Yeah.
Okay.
In a camp, and well, it's
film festivals, and
Yeah.
they're gonna hoping for distribution in 2020.
Okay.
Very cool.
Film festivals.
Very
And
cool.
also, Parker, you guys don't know this, but I directed a Blazer commercial and he had the most
Yeah.
amazing moment in the commercial. Everybody loves his spot. So we just got
okay. So
Yeah.
friends at school and everyone, and like tons of like my swim coach and everyone, they're like, hey, I saw you on a Blazers commercial, and like. So my friend, he's named Ben, and he loves basketball, and he goes to like every basketball game. And he's like,
I love
"Hey,
it.
I saw you on the big screen."
Oh, that's so fun. You were recognized by everybody. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And congrats on directing that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you. It's been
Yeah.
great. It's been really great.
Yeah.
Doing some of the same thing you guys are out doing, hustling, looking
Yeah.
for work.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know?
probably gonna take a class too. Like I'm excited to
Yeah.
take a class.
Good, yeah, never stop, right?
Yeah.
Actually, a group of us who are working actors, October's one of them, we've got together down here once a week and we train each other now so that we can stay in class. So each week, one of us takes a turn to train the other one, which has been
True.
phenomenal.
Kind of stay in it.
Wow.
Never
No,
stop
it's so
training.
true.
We're
Yeah.
crying, we're sweating, we're
Yeah.
laughing. I'm like, oh
Keep
my
it
gosh, this is why we do this.
Yeah.
You know, the training is almost more fun than anything else.
True.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
fun.
Definitely. You know, the most awkward thing at every start, or at almost every start, is just when you go in a circle and everyone just lines up and then does something crazy and screams a lot.
Oh,
in
that
front of
one,
the other
yeah.
person.
And when you first
It's
get to know your
the
your
best
people in the
thing.
acting studio, your
Yeah.
first day is so awkward. Yeah, I know it. Okay, so well, let's give them a big round of applause. And thank you guys for coming down. Thank you for watching out there. We wish you were down here with us. And on behalf of Acting for Kids and Teens, we cannot say thank you enough for sharing what you guys have learned, for taking the time. So many people come down and they work on sets, but they forget, like, to give